Okay guys, it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday and I'm hoping we're going live. We're trying something new today with a scheduled go live session, and I am really hoping we are live right now and I'm not talking to myself. Okay, if you are watching me, please do a little shout out, guys. Oh look, you're happening already. Beautiful, fantastic. All right, so that was a little nerve-wracking. As I said, it was a scheduled go live session tonight, so we had to set it all up in advance and then watch the countdown, and my countdown was different than Chris's countdown. It was all very exciting. So anyway, it looks like it's all working. So hi everybody, Michael and Bonnie, Suzanne, Tamara, Jenny, Dawn, Leanne, Susie, Joe, Linda, and anybody else I've missed. Ray, I don't think I said Ray. Hey Tamara, love, how are you going? And Wes? Great, you've all jumped on board. Beautiful. All right, so at least the scheduling thing works. That's great. That's one stressy thing out of the way. All right. You had to reload as there was no sound. Okay. All right. Morning, Alison. How are you going, sweetheart? Do you have to head out to work today? Sold all your gold pieces. Gold as in real gold or gold as in gold AA? Beautiful. Okay. Oh, Catherine. Hi, Shirley. Hey, Pauline. All right, everybody seems to be coming through. Julie, how are you, sweetheart? 14K the gold fill. Excellent. Oh, that's good then. That's good. I've got a customer down in Tasmania that the only thing she can sell is sterling silver. She's tried BA and things and no one will buy them. So there is a market for the precious metals, that's for sure. Much to do about nothing twice. Okay, cool. Yes, my daughter's got an excursion on that she wants to go. Can't remember what it is she's going to see now at the Opera House, some Shakespearean play. All right, fantastic. All right, so we might get this party started then, guys. As I said, we're doing a really easy beginner's weave for everyone tonight. European4in1 on the bias, which it's just a fancy way of saying it. It's on an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this over to the other camera and we'll get started. Okay, fantastic. All right, so as usual, I have some pieces made up for you guys to look at. So this is what the weave looks like. So as you can see, it's European4in1, but woven on a slight angle. Okay, fantastic. So that's 14 gauge. Those rings there are 5.25 millimeter. As in European4in1, it's 3.5 AR. Nothing fancy there. 16 gauge. That is in 4.25. So I've done this 5 rows wide so that you can just see the graduation down in the sizes. 18 gauge in the 3.5. And I got a bit fancy with the 20 gauge. And this one is actually our 7/64ths. And I've used both the BA and the AA in there. Metric 2.75 in 20 gauge. Okay, great. So we'll be weaving in the 14 gauge tonight as usual. And I've got my rings prepped. Okay, so let's get started. Should find a pliers. All right, so for anybody that hasn't done European4in1, I'll just quickly talk through the steps. So take up an opened ring and pop on 2 of your prepared closed rings. close that ring up. Now say you've got a little handle, pop a twist tie through, or a paper clip, a little piece of chain, whatever it is that you've got on hand. And that gives you a little handle there. Now we want to make some Mickey Mouse ears. So we take the two rings, the two closed rings sitting on top, and we make sure that our little mouse's forehead, which is this ring here, is facing us. Okay, what we do next is we take another one of our open rings, we put it through the front of the ear on the right hand side, twisting it around, feeding it up through the back of the ear on the left hand side. And before we close it, we pop on two more of our prepared rings. Close it up, move one ring each side, and it's just rinse and repeat. So one of our open rings, put it through the front on the right hand side, twist it around up through the back on the left hand side, pop on two closed rings and close that ring up. Okay, now we want for this one to do 4 rows of closed rings. Okay, so that's our starting European 4-in-1. Really good pliers tomorrow. You'll love them, darling. I know you will. And then a couple of extra rings. We're going to pop just a single ring through the top like we were before, but we're not going to put any rings on this one. This is just to finish the row up. And then we're going to take another open ring so we can start our bias. And to do that, I'm going to pop one on our first central ring down there, the one that we've got our twist tie on, putting it on the right hand side of the twist tie, and we're going to do the same. Oops, let me just get this to sit properly. Finding with the rings tonight. Okay, we're going to do the same up the top, putting it through that ring that we just added up the top there, that single ring, and we want this to sit on the left hand side of our weave. Okay, so that we sort of look like that, and you can see the work already is starting to look slightly unbalanced. Well, Catherine, if us Sydney-siders ever get our act together and we get a get together, I will bring my Lindströms for everyone to try. Okay, so that's our starting piece. That's nice and easy. And then we're just going to add the rings on the right hand side as we go. So we've got 5 rings in total on our right hand side. We can see they're all stacking up here. So what we want to do, this single ring that we put on at the bottom, we want to put a single ring through it. No other ring, just through it. And then for our next ring, we want to put it through the ring that we just put that single ring through and the one next to it. So like that. This one goes through 2 rings. Sorry, it's a bit blurry up close. We close that ring up. Okay, and we just keep adding 1 extra ring up the side as we go, putting it through the ring that we just put a ring through previously and the ring next to it. For this row, we're staying in behind the rings that we just added. Okay. That's so that the layering of these rings mimic the layering of the row two rows ahead, the rings 2 rows ahead. So again, taking up an open ring, putting it through the ring that we put one through previously and through the one next to it. And we need to put a total of 5 rings in. We've only got 4 there so far. So we need to do 1 more. Now this extra ring I put on the other side keeps getting in the way. That'll fix itself as we get longer. Okay. Trying to lay it out for you because I've put it down on the desk. You're not going to be able to see it. But my hand is not nice and flat like a table. There you go. Your work should start looking like this. So we can see that it's coming diagonal down and diagonally down that way. Once you put the bracelet on its side a little, it brings out the whole bias look. And that, people, is basically it. You just keep adding 1 row at a time. So you go back down to the beginning again. That single one that's flapping around by itself, you put just 1 ring through it. Through none of the others, just through it. Close it up. Picking up another open ring. We go through that same ring that we just did then and through the one next to it. So just picking up those 2 rings, and we move our way up the row, picking up the one old ring and 1 new ring. So that we put a total of 5 rings in each row. And 1 more. And let's see if I can get it in this hand any better. There we go. So you can see that diagonal building up, or the bias building up. So 1 row goes behind each of the new rings, the other row goes on top of the new rings. You just need to follow the row in front. So for this one, because we're working from the bottom up for our next row, you can see that this row goes, you know, that one's on top of that one, that's on top of that one, that's on top of that one. So each new ring that we put in slips in behind. The row after that will follow this row here, and you can see going from the bottom, that one's underneath, that one's underneath, that one's underneath. So we need to make each row mirror the positioning of the row previous. So not the one right next to it, not the one you're going into, but the one before that. Just like you would when you're expanding a European 4-in-1 anyway. Okay, so tonight is the last night that we're handing out our free tutorials to everybody who visits our live session and that wants a copy. As I announced last week, from next month we'll be running a paid subscription. So the question for this month, for our final freebie one, something nice and easy, just pop in while we're live in the comments section your favorite movie, or a movie you like really, really a lot. I don't know. Pop that in the comments for us, and we will send you out a copy of the PDF free. We'll have that out to you by Tuesday at the latest next week. Top Gun. Bucket list. I haven't actually seen the bucket list. So while that's happening, I'll just do another row here just to make sure everybody's got it. So starting our next row, we put a single ring through that ring there that was by itself, that didn't go through any others. Pop another ring through that. Thor. That is certainly worth the eye candy. Did I tell you my daughter got to meet Thor? That was a highlight of her moment of her life. Okay. Blues Brothers. Alright, so just making sure we go through an old ring and a new ring, and that we have 5 rings in each row, offsetting each row with just a single ring in the bottom. George of the Jungle. Okay. Interesting choice. All right, beautiful. So hopefully everybody is comfortable with that weave. All right, so I know that ring looks dangly up the top, but once you pop your clasp on, it actually tightens up that additional ring that we put on at the beginning, and you'll see how I've suggested you do that for the 14 gauge version, and then you would just adjust it as you go down with a smaller clasp. But you can see we've put, you know, a ring through each of the eyes, and then that then tidies up that loose extra ring that was floating around on the top, and again the loose ring that's on the bottom down the other end. With the 2-colored version, I just made in my case it was the center row was the colored rings, and the closed rings at the start were silver. But I mean, you can do it the other way, it doesn't really matter, all turns out the same in the end. Ooh, that's a bit close. But if you go back to the beginning, you can see that the center row is colored, and what would have been the closed rings at the start of the piece are the BA rings. And then the color just becomes, you know, offset the bias like everything else. Unfortunately, I can't get that close enough without it blurring. Okay, so is everybody cool with the weave? Any more questions? As I said, it's a really easy weave. It's a beginner's weave. It just takes the European 4-in-1 and gives it a slightly different look, so that when it's in bracelet format. So what this does mean, of course, is your clasp is offset. It's not straight, obviously. It's going to look like that in the bracelet. It's just the standard European 4-in size, European 4-in-1 sizes, Dawn. So for 18 gauge, it's 3.5. 16 gauge is 4.25. 14 gauge is 5.25. If you want to put a bit of colour in the 18 gauge, you can use the 9/64ths. And in the 20 gauge, you can use the 7/64ths or just 2.75 if you're going for a straight metric look. I actually mixed 2.75 up with 7/64ths just because I didn't have any 7/64ths in VA cut. There's only a slight difference in the sizes, and it really didn't make any difference. Absolutely different to Oops, because Oops is unbalanced. So it's, and I don't have obviously one here, but you can see that the rows of this go at an angle, where Oops's rows still go up and down, just the placement of the rings is staggered. Okay, so I will swap this over then. You can all look at my face, my lovely, lovely face. All right, so hopefully people are starting to get their next month's kits turning up. We sent them out on Tuesday. I think they actually left on Tuesday. So people should start getting them in. Everybody, just about everybody, got a copy of their tracking number. If you didn't receive a copy of your tracking number, let me know and I will resend it to you. Hopefully they should all start arriving very soon. If they aren't turning up, guys, or the tracking is sitting still, let us know so we can give Australia Post a poke and hopefully get them to you in time. We got a little extra prezi in there for guys of the that are part of the club, so hopefully you guys will like that. You got yours, Julie? Oh, I hope so, being in Sydney. Excellent, beautiful. Oh, I arrived in Canberra on Wednesday. Oh, they did really well, didn't they, Shirley? Beautiful. Okay, so as I said, we'll be starting the subscription for the PDFs. That's a weekly subscription. I'll
post a link with the updated page.
Okay. So it's gone live now on the website. So for those that want to get a copy of the tutorial in their mailbox each week, sign up to that. It was $4.80. Is that what it ended up being? $4.80 a week, which is a 20% saving on what the PDFs would normally cost you. That will go out every probably Friday night. Will be hitting your inboxes. It's weekly. It's not a monthly sign up like the club is. The kits are. So every week your account will be debited, and every week you will get a tutorial. So that's happening. We'll still be giving prizes and stuff away through our live sessions. Our live sessions won't change very much in that regard. We'll still be giving some prizes and things away. So you know, pop along, watch, and you might be able to win some prizes, and there'll be various things we've got planned to come up, and that'll be happening. Yeah, sorry, Marion, we're actually all finished, love. You popped in right at the end. Session start at 7 o'clock on the dot, especially when we schedule it through through Facebook. Okay, all right, so as I said, that's all up on the website. Sign up by Fridays to get the PDF by Friday night, or sign up by Thursday would be better, and that'll start next week. The new month for the Mail Club starts next week as well, so looking forward to that. Got some lovely weaves planned for the next month, and